where I made more money than doing dentistry for 20 years. So that one I exited. I think I made $3 million and I used the 3 million to buy 86 lumber yard and defunct 86 lumber. And then I converted that. And that's where, when I exited that, I sold to a REIT and made 10 million bucks on that property. The project went wrong on that project. Like, we had to run sewer underneath the highway to connect a half mile away, which was super expensive. There was a ton of rock on the site. So, we had change orders all over the place for rock. We had wetlands. I learned all about wetlands and the division of state lands, which, as you know, is a huge pain in the ass. We had to put a larger culvert underneath the railroad, which is a huge pain in the ass. And we had to move the access to the site because there was rock and some wetland areas. So we had to move the access. So we had to go through the Oregon Department of Transportation, which was a huge headache. Package all of those together, it was a nightmare, but I just kept grinding through it and asking questions and kept my head down. And I like to say I got my PhD in development on that first deal, just because I learned all of the different things that could go wrong and in entitlement, and just get going through the process to get it ready to build. And now that I was going to be the GC, I didn't want to pay the $300,000 GC fee at the time. And within the first week, I had a $75,000 change order. And looking back, I learned, don't step over dollar bills to pick up nickels. So now we have the same GC that we've worked with. We have the same architect that we worked with. I learned on that first one through making mistakes, get good people, pay them, don't step over dollar bills to pick up nickels. And so I think combination was kind of a perfect storm. And then a REIT, NSA, just wanted it more than I did and offered a rate that I'm like, here are the keys, you can have it. I had a meeting with Kent, and I don't know if I told you, but he had me take him through the process, and he goes, you're not good at that. Why are you doing it? And I said, well, I like it. It brings me joy and I get amped up. And he's like, well, get someone that's better at it than you. You're not good at it. So I hired my son, who is way, way better at it. As you know, there's a lot of back and forth. You got to call brokers. You got to, call put on our website and for other investors to see. And one of the investors said something that really resonated with me. He says, I look for the 3 T's before I invest. First one is trust. The second one is track record. And the third is transparency. How are you communicating? And I was like, it's so simple, but it's so brilliant. Like, I love that. I stole that from him and told him, he's like, yeah, talk about it. He's happy to share. And think, if anybody's looking to invest in a deal, look at those 3 T's and make sure you're really comfortable. I mean, trust is the one that is so difficult to get behind. Like, you have to know the person or know a person that knows a person. And especially if you're writing a $250,000 check or $500,000 check, like, you want to trust they're going to be a good steward of it. On one of our projects, your permit fees are $1.4 million. And I said, no freaking way are we going to pay $1.4 million for permit fees in Porterville, California. And so we pushed back, and, they're like, well, we might be able to classify it as this and do this. And long and short, we got the permit fees down to $400,000 from $1.4 million. So it had such an impact on my life, is that you can have anything that you set your mind to. So I grew up not having money. We were lower class. I grew up in a family that didn't prioritize education. And I changed careers very, very late in life. And, like we talked about, made more money on one deal than doing dentistry for 20 years. So it's possible to design, build, and live an extraordinary life, even if you didn't come from money, education, a dentist, or any of that stuff, that it's possible.
I love that.
Every morning I have a gratitude journal, but for your listeners that maybe don't have a gratitude journal, it's called the 5-finger gratitude. So if you just go through your hand, your pinky is something small that you're grateful for. Your ring finger is a relationship you're grateful for. Your middle finger is an FU that you're grateful for, because sometimes what you believe to be your biggest curse turns out to be your biggest blessing. So the pointer finger is something you can point at that you're grateful for. And the thumb is something in yourself that you're grateful for. So if there's one thing to get started, like today, right now, it would be the 5-finger gratitude. And it's super easy to do. It doesn't cost any money, and it takes 30 seconds, right? If you don't have 30 seconds to improve your life, I would question, is life even worth living, right? And I know gratitude has had such an impact on my life. You can't be grateful for the little things in life right now. You're not going to be grateful for the big things when they come in life. So, be grateful for what you have right now.